So while packing and moving all of my fragrances, I came across a lot of oldies and goodies. A couple of days ago, I dropped a video about fragrances that turned my love into an obsession. And that fragrance was a lot of designers and something a bit more accessible. But through the cracks, I started to find what was now known as Middle Eastern dupes, clones, basically. So this video is the clone version of that video. Let's go. What's going on, guys? My name's Neeb. Welcome back to AROMATIX. So while moving a bunch of my stuff and so scared to lose any of my children while being transported, I came across so many oldies but goodies, man, and they brought back so many fucking memories, dude. A lot of these oldies are during an era where they were just like mosquito repellent smelling, or they just started to really catch a wave, and I was obsessively covering them. Almost 95% of my videos was just clones, 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 clones. And it slowly, people were just like, this motherfucker won't stop. And that's basically how I got traction. And eventually, people started to say like, this guy's like, is he onto something? And they discovered them, and fast forward to 2025, and the quality of these is just next level. And I have my own line. Wow, God is good, and you guys are amazing. And I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. I owe all of this to you guys genuinely. And that's why I always give back by either discovering some hidden gems and always keeping it real. Let's go ahead and get started with one of the first fragrances on this list. It is one that reminded me of a very trending, the best-selling fragrance of all time, Sauvage. And it's Riff's Blue Absolute. This isn't the first Sauvage clone that I discovered, but it was the first one that I got that was like, holy shit. Qualities are starting to really trend upwards. There was also Yes, I Am the King. That one was like, holy crap, like this is 1-to-1 almost. Now, it is important to note that the performance for this isn't like, whoa, you know, or anything crazy. I'd rock this to work. And the atomizer, by the way, on this one, if you do want to plan on grabbing this, you have to spray this one a little bit more than usual because it doesn't really spray that much, as you guys can see. So I would go about 8 sprays and it would last me about 5 hours. Good enough, man. I got complimented while I was working at the hospital with this one. Bro, I swear to God, the scent of this in the air, okay, it's not exactly, but the quality is immaculate, especially during its time. This came out in a time of like, remember Qa'id al-Fursan? You guys, that was like way back when it first came out. And I remember making a video and I was like, if Emporio Armani were to release an Aventus, because it had like the sweetness, and I don't know what I was thinking. But anyways, those were the early days. And I used to make those videos and say like, they should have renamed this to AROMATIX and blah. Wow, bro. Long time has passed since. Anyways, Sauvage, soapy, blue lavender gel style of scent that works even to this day. That might not be the case for all of these, but stick around and we'll find out. Speaking of stick around, did you guys know that I have shoparomatics.com? We're working on some SEO. It's not populating right away. You have to actually search shoparomatics.com. It takes a lot of money, you guys, like a lot of money, not only to, you know, bring these fragrances and give you guys deals that are legitimately better than most discounters. Check it out for yourself. Or you can use a bunch of coupon codes that's down in the description, which also helps the channel and also save you some cash. If it doesn't save you money, don't use it. But at the end of the day, if you do, it does help the channel. Love you guys. Let's get into it. It's called Just Jack Noir Endurance. I remember when there was only about 2 videos about this fragrance, and one of the brothers was from Philippines, and he was comparing this to Tom Ford's Noir Extreme. Fragrance brands like Dua Brand and like Alexandria were selling dupes. I found this and I was like, no fucking way, bro. And yes way. It's not the best thing in the world. It is pretty damn close. The quality does shy away, but look at the depth, man. I rock the shit out of this fragrance. So this fragrance, much like the original one, does have this vanillic ice cream along with this oriental spice that smells exactly like this one, but the quality of it obviously is not gonna be the best. Think of the fragrance as like more peppery, more spicy, whereas this one has more of a smooth refinement overall. But that's pretty much it. A fragrance that also lasted a solid 7 to 8 hours. I mean, this is no joke. Moving into something else that I really loved, and I bought it just to see whether or not it was close. I didn't even need it, you guys, but by this time and during this era, I was just on a mission to provide people discoveries. I just wanted to do something, you know, for I just obsessed over it, man. There was no money, there were no brands, there was no brand deals at this era. This is called L'Uomo, and I picked it up because I saw the similarities to this, and this is when brands were still being reckless with the bottle designs. But when I tell you this is damn near 90 to 95% close, even during its time, it was ahead. This is by Fragrance World, and this you can still find to this day, but much like the OG, the longevity of this is just not freaking there. If this is a 4-hour performing fragrance, this is like a 2.5 to 3-hour performing fragrance. It still smells incredible. The quality, this is serious stuff. But Longevity is just not there. That was one where it was kind of like bittersweet. Like I was let down by the fact that it didn't last, but I wasn't really surprised, honestly. I picked this one up for like $39.99. I think it was Oud Store that had this. By the way, I have a coupon code with Oud Store as well. If you guys didn't know, it's AROMATIX as well. Now moving on, a little bit more of an expensive Middle Eastern fragrance, and it took me some time to really justify doing this one. It was from Ahmed Ali, and it's called Bin Sheikh. Some of the brothers in the Dubai space are the ones who reviewed this first. The word was that it's like Initio's Oud for greatness. Very metallic, sharp, saffron, along with an authentic smelling oud and patchouli. And that's what it is. It smells like Initio's Oud for greatness, but much more authentic oud, which has a little bit of an animalistic bite. It has a fern-like accord that's kind of piney without being too resinous, and what smells like soil, like earth, basically. Performance of this is next level. It is extremely strong. You have been warned, but I really enjoyed this scent profile, and it lived up to the expectation. Now moving on into the 1 million territory. During the time that this one came out, as I stated in the earlier video, I was kind of broke. I was a brokey, and I couldn't really afford this one. But by the time that my favorite flanker came out, 1 million elixir, I was doing much better. Isn't it crazy to think that we live in a society where you can study for 8 years and still work check to check and barely be able to afford something extra, such as like a perfume? That's the reality that we were in. All I can say is thank God for everything, and I wouldn't change a dang thing. But by the time the elixir came out, this did too, called Alry by Athoor al-Alam. And when I tell you that I enjoyed this one more, and to this day, I like it a little bit more. The one thing about the 1 million elixir is that it has a bit more of a prominent spice, probably the same backbone of this, the mandarin and cinnamon. Although the note breakdown, usually they'll only reserve it to what the differences are, it's still absolutely there. This one has a bit more focus on the ambery and vanillic vibes, making it richer and even longer lasting. Maybe not as projecting, but it still definitely projects. I would spray this on about 6 to 8, honestly no, probably like 10 to 12 times. But the scent, wow, bro. Love this. Performance. This is when I started to get more performance from specifically Fragrance World products as well. This one was a 6 to 8 hour performing fragrance, and I think it came out in 2022 if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, I raved about this one, and I still remember I made the thumbnail and it was like finish him, and it was like Mortal Kombat, and it was like Sub-Zero or some shit punching the original, and this was there. It's crazy, bro. I've been on these for a minute. Now fast forward to I was still working at the hospital during this era, and I unboxed this fragrance and I had no idea. This is what era these fragrances were in. It was during a time where you never knew what it was a clone of. Brands didn't even know, okay? And this fragrance, I ordered it on a whim from Oud Store as well. It was Kayaan Gold. I ordered both the gold and the classic. So I got the gold one in first, and I was sampling and testing, and I was like, what is this? And I still remember making a short about the gold one, and I was like, you guys, after sniffing it for like 6 hours obsessively, this is 1 million parfum. Wallah al-Azim, I swear to God on everything I love. I had zero reference, no guides, but I loved it and I obsessed. So that is 1 million parfum. It's like a salty, fresher, white floral take on the whole 1 million DNA. But then this one was like, no way. I love Dior Homme Parfum and Dior Homme Intense, and it's one of the fragrances that turned my love into an obsession. It was a recreation, the closest thing of the original Dior Homme, not Intense or Parfum, and it's so good. Buttery iris, it smells like an office vibe with cedarwood and coffee, but fresh and clean. Incredible. Regardless of the facts, during this time, I was still looking for something that smells like Dior Homme Parfum. And if it wasn't for these brands discontinuing, I wouldn't have even no, I still would have looked for them, not gonna lie. But this came, and I was super impressed by the buttery iris nature. And I had gotten so many iris fragrances that tried to do like this quality of iris, which is very specific to the brand, but they just never lived up to the expectations. But this was when it all changed. This is when I was like, and to this day, I'm telling you guys right now, to this day, the quality of iris in this, I'm still like, people are having a hard time making the quality, very specifically, of iris, okay? This is the closest thing to Dior Homme Intense. And during this era, the Clone Wars had started. I was starting to get a lot of fragrances that smell alike, and the next fragrance will highlight that as well. The one thing that I did notice is that the performance for this one was kind of weak, but it all came down to the atomizer as well. So take a look at the atomizer. It doesn't really spray too much. Actually, that wasn't really that bad, but I would have to spray this, say about 10 to 12 times minimum to start getting some kind of performance. Anyway, moving on. Fragrance won't help you forget. Next one is one that was kind of confusing because it came from a sister company to the same company that dropped the first one we talked about, Just Jack, right? Sterling Perfumes, aka Armaf, aka the rest. This is called Armaf's Odyssey M, the black one. And when I smelled this, I was like, wait a minute, this smells incredibly close to Tom Ford's Noir Extreme, but they already have Just Jack. I would imagine that they started putting them in this. I would have left it at that, but I do find differences between this and also the Just Jack. The Just Jack seems a little bit stronger. So this is a 6 to 7 hour performing fragrance that does smell like Noir Extreme, but it's not as refined. In fact, it doesn't smell as close even as this one, but it still smells pretty damn good for $25. If you don't get the hell out of here, bro, this is crazy. All right, now moving on into something, a fragrance that I truly adored and absolutely obsessed over, Spice Bomb Extreme. This is one I used to wish they had a dupe of, but they didn't for the longest time, up until recently. And it was like a unicorn to even find this. They discontinued it, I think, for about 1.5 years, and then I was able to find it as well. And didn't necessarily scratch the itch, and by the time it came out, I was kind of a little bit, you know, over the scent profile, but still an excellent fragrance. It's called Oris Spice by Mark and Victor. During an era where they were just brutal with the names, you guys, crazy. I would personally say this is one of the closest ones. To this day, they're still trying to do it, but they seem to fail at this DNA. I wouldn't necessarily call it a fail completely, but they just don't get more than like 85%. The citruses are more enhanced. It's not as vanillic. It might be a captive, in fact, like a secret recipe that they use in the Victor and Rolf fragrances. Those are still worth it, but this is decent. 6 hour longevity, still pretty damn good. Now this last one is one where I realized that, like, fuck reformulations. Let them reformulate all day, because in fact, there are some fragrances that last longer, smell better. It's like a 10% chance of the dupes that it will actually be better than the OG. This one, it's not necessarily better, but it's, in my opinion, just as good. Same longevity and fixes the problem of discontinuation. It's called Inviccto Legend. So Invictus Legend was one of my favorite ones. It was the aquatic realm that we know, a bit more aromatic with a crisp green leaf. There's a reason why I called it Aromatics, the channel. I love those herbs. And that bay leaf, I believe it is, with the more aquatic notes, makes it last so much longer. It also gives you another dimension that makes it a lot more compliment worthy, because when you have bubblegummy, fresh, sweet, aquatic, and then you add something that's contrasting, it really does turn heads, and that's the compliment factor. So fast forward to an era where it was discontinued for $35 with 6 to 8 hours of longevity on a cheapie like this. That's crazy. So mind you, to get this kind of performance, you have to spray it like me. I don't go less than 8 times with something that's fresh like this. If you go less, you absolutely can expect less performance. Now, let's say, hypothetically, you're going with 4 sprays. It's probably only gonna give you 4 hours, but also consider the atomizer might not always be the best. And that is something that does factor in, you guys. With atomizers, there are parts per million, ppm. They measure basically the amount of fragrance that you get. And for a lot of the earlier fragrances from the Middle East, they didn't really know this until more recently. Whereas these, they had like a specific standard. I'm not sure exactly what the ppm is. This one was probably doing like 150, maybe, 40% less, etc. But you get the idea. Regardless of the fact, this is a salty, sweet shower gel style scent with a very prominent and crisp bay leaf. But there are a lot of other fragrances, man, that was attempted and not really gotten well, like Armani Code. Harmony Code came out, it wasn't really the longest lasting. And even Acqua di Gio, Ajmal Shiro was one of the best ones, but even then, longevity was of question, and PDM's Leighton was one that was pretty hard for companies to get up until more recently, where I found one, I think it was called by the Dusk Collection or something like that, and brands just kept releasing and releasing and releasing. But these are the Middle Eastern fragrances that turned my love into even more of an obsession. But it gave me some sense of relief, because during a time where I couldn't even grab 2 or 3 of these at a time, I was able to grab 2 or 3 of these for less than 1, you guys. Look, think about it. 30, 25, and 25 bucks. That is absolutely insane. And I was covered. Freshness all year round. Date nights and everything in between with date nights approved. That's like 20, okay, let's do the math real quick. Let's say 50 bucks, $80. You guys, I couldn't even find this on discounters. So you better believe me being, first off, helpful in nature, but also obsessive over perfumes, it was like a cheat code. And it's a cheat code that I fell in love with. But I also still love the OGs, and I recognize when it just cannot be done. Moral of the story is that even then, I'll let you guys know. Like something like this, really good, doesn't touch the OG. The OG is still worth grabbing. Something like this, honestly, I forgot about the Invictus Legend OG. And something like this, I'd personally say you still need the original. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Let me know down in the comment section what's the Middle Eastern fragrance that turned your love into an obsession. And also do the other stuff like the Armaf. Hey, Armaf, it's called Futura La Home. All right, make sure to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.